everybody. This is Luca Majno once again with Frank Gregory Ford. We're here for Global News Update on TLBTV, where we give you complete backstage and up-to-date info on the developments occurring in our world today. And that apparently is an understatement, according to Frank. We call him Greg, okay? I think you know that by now. So, Greg, you have something to start with on CNN, about CNN. What do we got?
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, this is my life goal of bringing people to, teaching people to unlearn what they've been taught by our highly slanted, highly influenced oligarchic system of education. Okay, no, the history of America isn't what you think it is.
No.
The history of the world isn't what you think it is. Okay. And it's part of the, what's the word? The
conditioning.
Social education and advising process. All right. So let me go ahead and get started here. Okay. I had the good fortune of watching CNN yesterday, and I actually came across a CNN biography. Okay. The specials that they have. That means that anybody watching your show, Luca, or my show, or the both of us can actually go to CNN, especially on cable, and request to see this specific show. And I've always maintained, look, don't believe what I say. Don't believe what I point out. Okay? Remember, I'm just a troublemaker according to the neocons, all right? Or if you want to go with the intelligence agencies, oh, I'm mad as a hatter, crazy, nuts. Okay, I imagine all this terror, this torture going on and abuse going on in places like Abu Ghraib, right? So guess what? You can not believe me, and you can go get this show. It's called America's War on Drugs. All right, and my goodness, what an interesting show it was. It's always good. And it lets me know that I'm actually living life, because when I start seeing people that I've known and worked with show up on a TV program like that, that means I've spent some time really seeing the world and doing things. Okay, and most of it was in the best interest of the United States of America. Okay, so we have a couple of things too, by the way, and I'll hold this up. My good friend, Joe Hickman. Okay, Joe Hickman and John Kiriakou, who everybody saw recently. He just got out of prison because he stood up against the CIA and told them that, no, we can't go around torturing people. We're not some third world brass hat dictatorship, that basically treats people like a piece of meat or an inconvenience. Okay. Now, yes, I know everybody thinks differently about that. They want to go around. They think our government should be torturing people. Hajis. That's what I keep hearing, torturing Hajis. Well, folks, guess who's next? Okay? When they get done with the Hajis, guess who the agency is coming after? Okay? They have mangled and twisted the laws. Every single thing I have said to you has been proven out now, and this book certainly proves it out. Joseph Hickman is one of the biggest advisors on my book, soon to be coming out, okay, and he has been working with John Kiriakou. Okay, John Kiriakou is going to open your eyes in terms of what bad things are being done. And by the way, Mr. Abu Zubaydah is going to open your eyes also about what your government has done to set you up, all right? To murder your loved ones, to set you up, to make you pay all these taxes. I don't know anybody that's actually voted on a tax increase. In my lifetime, I've never met anybody that said, oh yeah, I voted on a tax increase. Guess why that is? It's because your government has decided it likes spending your money doing exactly what it wants to do, and then they can make up programs like counterterrorism and fighting terrorists, okay? To quote George Bush, fighting terrorists, and then we got to get you people all off drugs. That just doesn't look good that we have 17 people overdosing an hour in the United States on opioids. Didn't we have a drug war where we're supposed to stop this? According to CNN, oh, yes, we did. All right. Oh, my goodness. Please take your notepads and a pencil, something to write with when you watch this, because you will see something that I've been telling you about all along. And the nice thing about this is I was in the Caribbean, El Caribe, okay? When this was all happening, I was on a ship, a military ship called the Courageous, and we were out in the Caribbean, and I was seeing all of this firsthand, right in the water when this was happening, okay? All right, and then later on, as I increased in my career, I went to a place called Central America. All right, gee, imagine that, Central America, and we had somebody named Noriega. Okay, well, bad old Noriega. All right, Manuel Noriega to be exact. He was the HNIC or the El Jefe of Panama. Okay, if you hadn't noticed, we do have personal interest in Panama. We dug a great big ditch across the place, and we've been making money on it ever since. Well, it appears, according to the folks that ran Howard Air Force Base, that it also turned into a major export center for cocaine on military flights. Now, how could something like that happen? All right. Does anybody want to give a call to what is it, Houston, to the Bush compound, and give Hoppy Bush, the man of the people, the kinder, gentler man, okay, who, by the way, if you have any loved ones who fought in the first Gulf War, when the Amir and the princes of Saudi Arabia and Kuwait wanted to give your loved ones $75,000 benefit to pay off their student loans. Whoops, did we just lose our recording?
No, we're good.
Okay. I think the agency is grumbling at me. Okay, just try to cut my picture off.
Yeah.
Okay, so what we have here is this. Don't believe me, as I've always said, CNN, watch it, okay? And we have a very good friend of mine, Sally Castillo, okay? Please remember that name. Sally Castillo was in Central America with me, running his own operation, trying to fight drugs, bad old drugs, okay? Well, something very bad happened and started to happen to Mr. Castillo, okay? When he stood up and he started getting offered hundreds of thousands of dollars as bribes, okay?
To shut up, yeah.
Yes, to shut up, okay? This is our employee, and guess who was offering it to him, okay? It was our own government was offering him this money. Our own government, the United States of America, was there offering Mr. Sully Castillo money. And so then he didn't take any, okay? Imagine that, a government employee not taking a bribe. God, it's just un-American, okay? So what we have, all right, is Mr. Sully Castillo, who is a good friend of mine, and he decides, okay, what's going on here? He asked some of his sources who were established drug runners and drug dealers in Central America. This is specifically Nicaragua, all right, as in Iran-Contra issues, okay. This is in Honduras, and he remembers a bus, a local bus, being attacked and ambushed, and guess who was sitting in that bus? Okay, that's how I got to meet Mr. Castillo. I was sitting on that bus that was attacked and shot to pieces, okay? So, but Mr. Castillo did some investigation and found out that, yes, indeed, he did not need to offer any of his recruited drug runners, okay, Because they had already had protection. They had protection from the Vice President of the United States, George H.W. Bush. Okay? As I said, watch the show. You will see the same undercover drug dealers, okay, for Central America, standing, having their picture taken with a very benevolent-looking, paternal-looking, smiling Poppy Bush, George H.W., okay? What a fine family we have here, all right? The grandfather, Prescott Bush, has and is acknowledged as one of the only groups of people in U.S. history to try to overthrow a president. And I mean FDR, starting from FDR, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, to the present. He actually was included in charges drawn up during World War II as working and supplying the Nazis. Okay? Yes, for anybody who's ever heard about the concentration camps in Cyclone B, yes, guess who? It was Mr. Prescott Bush. And the later mentor to an old boss of mine named Richard Milhouse Nixon. Okay? And so what we have here is the son who just like dear old dad was a complete psychopathic murdering oligarch. All right? Doesn't care who dies. Okay, who cares if your children die? They don't care. As long as it's not them, they don't care. All right? So what we have here is George H.W. Bush coming along, and what a superstar he was. He faked his own death, okay, faked being shot down in the South Pacific by a Japanese fighter. And by the way, his former commanding officer just found out about this. Boy, does he have something to say about George Bush's big World War II heroics, okay? And then, surprise, Mr. Bush shows up as the intelligence officer for Douglas MacArthur. Remember all that make-believe fake nonsense? I shall return. Well, you know, and they show him waiting ashore in the Philippines. Okay, yeah, that's Mr. George H.W. Bush, who was his junior intelligence officer. All right. By the way, they were on their way to pick up the gold that was plundered by the Japanese, and that was being turned over to the gold mining company that Mr. Bush owns, and Mr. or General MacArthur. So what we have here now is these folks found it so easy to make money that here they are in Central America getting cocaine, using some good chemistry, and they're selling it. It's called crack cocaine, and they're selling it in black areas. Okay. Yes, I hope the people that say Black Lives Matter, okay, well, you want to find out who's causing all that problem in these black areas? All right. You've got him. Born in Compton, California himself, George H.W. Bush, okay? And that coked up idiot of a son of his, okay? Remember the son who couldn't get his airplane down on the ground? You know, when he was attached to the Texas National Guard, the Champaign unit, okay?
Hang on a second. Why, back up a minute. Wasn't George H.W. Bush the one who made up the, what was it now? The Family Planning Act for sterilizing of black people?
Yes. Uh-huh.
In the 70s.
Right. The kinder, gentler man himself. Right. Absolutely.
The Family Planning Act. Don't believe us. Look it up. Right. Absolutely. And I started to say, yeah, he was also the one who said, no, U.S. soldiers that have student loan debts, U.S. soldiers that go into debt, lose their homes when they go to fight for America, as 35,000 soldiers lost their homes to go fight, in the Middle East. And of course, do you think the Bushes stepped in one single time to try to help those soldiers? No. In fact,
Barbara Bush, the matriarch of all of this wonderfulness, okay, she actually made the statement that she did not want to be bothered having her beautiful mind polluted with the coffins of dead soldiers. That's how much these people care, all right? So anyway, watch this show because it's great. It shows George H.W. Bush smiling with all his drug dealers, okay? And it shows Gary Webb, okay, who tried to bring this story out, and immediately he was killed by the agency. He was killed in California, in Carmichael, California. It shows John Kerry trying to hold drug investigations on the Bush family. Yes, that John Kerry, Secretary of State John Kerry. Okay, and guess what? John Kerry runs for president, and guess who comes after him? All right, it was the Bush family who came after him with all these made-up lies. Funny, you know, if you're a Bush, it doesn't matter what kind of a service you do for America, they'll cover it up no matter what. You know, you've got the idiot village son, George, who is AWOL, by the way, technically AWOL. Okay, everybody seems to have forgotten that little issue. And then you got the father who faked his own death. Okay, faked being shot down. Okay, you got Prescott Bush, who basically supplied the enemy, the Germans. All right. So, you know, hey, being AWOL from your unit, that's normal for a Bush. Okay. Being a lying, treasonous son of a bitch is normal for the Bush family. And then let's not forget about 9/11. Has anybody read the 28 pages? Okay, the 28 declassified pages that the 9/11 Truth Committee brought forth? There's a real problem there, Mr. Bush. I've seen some of your buddies, okay, paid to bring the 9/11 attacks and to bring the 9/11 buildings crashing down on 3,000 Americans killed. And also, as I found out, it's been a bad week for the Bush family, okay, especially for CNN, because they found that what happened to Amelia Earhart, okay, and that means Amelia Earhart was actually taken prisoner by the Japanese, the same folks that were working with Douglas MacArthur, okay, remember that, Douglas MacArthur, Dugout Doug, okay, well, it turns out that our government, FDR, cut loose, and the intelligence services cut loose Amelia Earhart, let her die in Japanese hands, had her head cut off, okay? Yeah, well, she was a good citizen, I guess, if you ask the Bushes. And it turns out that, yes, she and Fred Noonan were executed, all right? Because their government, when it come to their aid, they knew they were alive, would not come to their aid. And that means, as I said the other day, that means that our government knew about the attacks on Pearl Harbor, let it happen. Yep. How much more clear can I make that? They let the attacks on Pearl Harbor happen so they could get us into the war, so all the oligarchs can make more money. And 9/11, gee, anybody heard of Mr. Larry Silverstein? Okay, well, gosh, he didn't even own the World Trade Center until what, 40 days before? Okay, and then he brings in his own engineers, his own security people, and they wire up the World Trade Center, and they wire up building number 7, which had several investigations going on, and they leveled both. Okay, well, that's what Abu Zubaydah has to say. Okay, Abu Zubaydah, he has some very interesting things about this. Okay, so what we have is at the CIA, which was started by the Bush family and the Harriman family, and we have a situation now where the CIA is about to take over. I'm sorry, excuse me. This is all post ex facto. Okay, yes, they've taken over the United States. They have taken it over. They're recording this recording right now. I think everybody should be allowed to get their own NSA copy of this. Okay, don't you think so, Luca? All right.
I do, yes.
Yeah. All right. And that's what I see as the only problem with Mr. Trump. Okay, right now, is Mr. Trump doesn't understand exactly what has happened. Yes, he is being targeted by the Bush family, and he's being targeted by the CIA. And here's something that you can call a real breaking news, bit of breaking news, okay, is you can rest absolutely assured that female Russian lawyer that supposedly lured Mr. Donald Trump Jr. over, okay, to Russia to get news on Hillary Clinton. KGB, FSB, folks, secret agent. Have you seen a picture of her? Okay, hey, I can smell a foreign agent a mile away. Okay, and and I have this on pretty good authority that if Mr. Trump had known what she looked like, he would have gone himself. Okay, what was that he says? How to treat women? Okay. Oh, there goes my picture. There. NSA just told me. Okay. So anyway, that's what we have here. Is we have Donald Trump is targeted by the CIA. He's now targeted by the FBI, and that idiot had the audacity and stupidity to do a deal with the Russians. Remember, you heard it on my show first. He is going to build a pipeline, okay, with Mr. Putin, a pipeline. And what's the only thing standing between him and a pipeline, okay, between America and Russia, okay, the Pryoshka Basin in Russia, is North Korea. We better think about this before we get into our next war, folks. Okay, so I want everybody watching your show, Luca, to turn on CNN and thank CNN for having that war on America's war on drugs. Okay, we can see it every day happening right now, every hour. Since I've been telling you this, how many people? 8, 10 people have OD'd on opiates. Okay, by the way, those are opiates coming out of Asia, as in coming out of
Korea,
Pakistan. Oh, gee, Pakistan. Why would they be coming out of Pakistan? Well, let's just ask Hillary Clinton, okay? We'll ask Hillary Clinton and about her associates, the Awan brothers out of Pakistan, that are bringing in heroin. Okay?
North Korea too, right?
Oh, well, sure. Okay.
Why not?
No, 98% of all heroin that comes into the United States comes in via Pakistan. And the poppy fields that Hillary Clinton's, okay, her mercenary group called Blackwater, okay, those poppy fields are all protected by Blackwater, okay? Yep. Is this a great country or what? What can you say about this country? When you got these murdering, lying, thieving, drug dealing, pimped out politicians, busy doing one crime right after another. And who do we get for an attorney general? We get this no-lip turtle by the name of Sessions, okay, who's out to tell the bad old American people that they can't smoke any medical cannabis, okay, but they can let the alcohol lobbies go ahead and dictate terms about what all the Americans are going to die on the roads from, all right? So what we have here is a runaway government and definitely a runaway intelligence service called the CIA, which is doing the dirty work for the oligarchs right now, all right? So here's what we do, folks. You don't want to sit here and listen to somebody bitch and complain about all of this. You want to have solutions. It's real simple, okay? Real simple. We first of all, we get rid of that clown, Sessions. We bring in a real AG, okay? An attorney general that's got to do something, all right? We don't bring in another whiner like what was Mr. Fast and Furious, Eric Holder, Okay. Yeah. I mean, hey, you saw what he did. A lot of good that did. By the way, I have people calling me and asking me, what did Obama do? As far as I can tell, Mr. Obama for 8 years didn't do anything except hide his background. He really wasn't born in the United States, folks, and he didn't get us out of Guantanamo. Okay, that's something you can read about. Okay, and the convenient terrorist. He didn't get us out of Guantanamo. We're still there. We're still in Iraq. It's getting worse than ever. We're still in Afghanistan. Last time I checked. What did he do for us? Okay, the drug situation in America is greater than it ever has been. Well, I had somebody say, well, the longer he worked with the CIA, he got a like for all the secrecy and the patriotism. Okay, that he saw. Oh, really? So is that why he prosecutes virtually every whistleblower he can get his hands on? And did? Mr. John Kiriakou saw that. John Kiriakou, okay? John Kiriakou saw that. And he went to prison for 2 years, okay, for trying to stop somebody from being tortured who had been shot in the groin, okay? Shot in the groin. So this is what happened. You know, with the Bush family, we got never-ending war, all right? We've got the largest drug dealers in the world that are still the largest drug dealers in the world. And then we got attacked, terrorist attack, which absolutely put us into a completely depressed, compromised position as a whole country. And then who did we get? Okay, after him, we got Mr. Don't say anything about him. Okay, Mr. You can't say anything about him because you might be a racist. Okay, we got Obama, all right, who had worked for Henry Kissinger. Okay, and yeah, and we still can't even figure out where he was born. Did anybody ever figure out where he was born? Okay, I mean, he produced a fake birth certificate with a hospital that didn't even exist, okay, when he was supposedly born. Okay, everybody in Kenya seems to know him and know about where he was born. Okay, and he has a fake social security number from a dead man who died 5 years before in Pennsylvania. All right, and now who do we get? We get this guy Trump on an election process that resembled something really strange. It looked like the same way that Mr. Bush got elected by. Remember the hanging chads, the famous hanging chads? Okay, that's what we have. We've got some real problems, folks. And like I say, don't believe me. Go watch CNN, America's War on Drugs. You will see a lot of the same faces. It will be deja vu for the American people, all right? And as I said, I'm always available, okay, for answering questions, all right?
And it's really important to, like you said, not believe us. Take those little notes of all the important things that we're saying and go look for yourself. Sometimes we have to do revisionist history and go all the way around like we just did because everything connects. So until next time, Greg, I can't thank you enough for your wisdom and your teachings also. And they're really, really important. And people are watching because our listening audience is increasing. So I can't thank you enough, and we'll talk to you again on Global News Update for next time. Thank you so much.
Jessica.